it's on. All right, since we're 15 minutes behind schedule, we'll start right now. But please keep eating and keep coming for more if you're still hungry. Thanks all for coming. We're really excited to have this event for you here because we're all here at business school, but once we came to San Francisco, we realized that we really need to have our hands in any technical stuff that we can come across. And really, you see that this event is about demystifying your online presence. We want to make you see how easy it is to get online, right? Even though you have zero technical skills. And you'll see that it doesn't require a lot of time, and you can do this in your free time. You can go and polish it up a little bit, get help from somebody who knows what he's doing more, but at the same time, you can get by with the basics, and you can do a pretty good job. So just to give you a quick run over what we're going to do here, Andrew is going to run through the whole event. I'll be interjecting with comments. Due to the tight deadline that we got, and there is a happy hour, I know that there's going to be a lot of questions generating as we're going through it, but please keep it to the end, because we want to cover up as much as we can during this 1 hour. And there are two ways to go through this event. First, you just watch and see how we're doing it. Second, you can actually do it yourself with us. Just keep the pace, follow us, and by the end of the day, you'll see what you'll have already up and running. So without further ado, we'll just jumping right into it. Andrew?
All right, thanks, Mo. Welcome, guys. Good to have you here. So as Mo said, we're just going to sort of get you ready. How many of you want to or will be following along and setting up as you go along? Okay, so if you could, all you need to have ready is two things. Obviously your web browser, and we're going to go to wordpress.com. Just have it open and ready, and have an email, have your email open, because you're going to get a confirmation that you need to do. It's very quick, but it'll be quicker if you have it open already, so you can just click through. All right. So while you're doing that, I'll just introduce what we're going to go through it in this manner. First, I'll give a quick, very short run through on your online presence and how that fits into the scheme of things, and then we'll jump straight into WordPress specifically, where it'll be practical. I'll be showing some things on the screen as we go along, and basically building a site from scratch as we go along. And then we'll have a few useful resources I'll be mentioning as we go along. We'll have a links page, and this will be available to you afterwards. And then we'll give a run through of what is our roadmap from here, and what is our plan for 2013 as a Hult Venture Group. And then we'll do questions and answers and whatever may come from there. Okay, so very quickly, your online presence. We've all had the PCD session, right? And we did the whole Google yourself and see what comes up, what stands out, whatever. This fits into the larger scheme of things. So of course, you've got websites you may be mentioned on, whether it's projects, companies, news, if you've ever been in a news release, LinkedIn, and you have to remember it's also whatever your associations, your connections mention of you. So you show up in, you may not have public information that you yourself have put up there, but sometimes people put stuff up on your behalf or about you, and you show up. And of course, all the other social events and articles, etc., and third-party websites. In terms of your website itself, okay, I mean the whole ethos with this is the way we're going to do it is keep it fun, explore. I mean, at the end of this, you'll see that there's so many possibilities and there's so many different ways to customize and make this yours and put your own touch on it, that it's really about exploring and probing around and discovering little things. I mean, even guys who've been doing this for a very long time say they discover something all the time and how to tweak it in a new way. And that's really what makes you stand out. Be creative, of course, over a while, and share. I mean, the whole ethos, for instance, with WordPress itself is it's a community of things that are shared. For instance, that's why WordPress itself is free for the basic version. Asking questions, sharing, and there's no need to reinvent the wheel in many respects. Many things have been done already, and that's why it's so easy to just piece something relatively basic but nice together. WordPress, this is how they describe themselves, all right? Web software you can use to create beautiful sites or a blog. So as you know, WordPress had its beginnings in blogging specifically, and it's still described a lot of times as a blog site. But on top of that, it's evolved a little bit. It can host larger websites. In fact, there are quite a lot of well-known websites that run on various versions of WordPress. You can scale from what we'll do today, very basic, to enterprise level sites. So what you do today can grow, and can even tomorrow it could be your company that you're doing this for. And you can base it all on WordPress.
Just a quick comment here. Actually, WordPress, another reason why we're using it, it's an open source. So you really don't have to worry about getting the latest, cutting edge content management software. All you need to do is go update WordPress, right, and you'll be good to go. So it's really keeping up to date, and developers are working in the back end, so you really don't have to worry about doing anything after that other than just updating it.
Okay. So as I said, there's a very large community of users, people. As Mo said, it's an open source site. There's people who volunteer to develop this, as with many other open source projects. There's many commercial themes and plugins, as well as free. And just to make a mention there, a lot of time you'll hear the word premium themes and plugins. The only real distinction is somebody wants you to pay for it. There's a lot of free stuff that is very nice and available. When you hear the word premium, it just means commercial, and it's not necessarily better. There's experts around to get information from, and of course a large community of end users, and even events around WordPress. It's easy to use, or it can be quite difficult. It can be anything you want it to be. It can be reasonably simple. It can be challenging. It can be challenging if you're not familiar with what's going on, and when you start probing around and adding things later on. It's quite scalable, as I mentioned already. It can go right up to quite large size, and we'll show you one or two of the possibilities. And there's many resources available. Okay, so I'll just show you guys a few sites that run on WordPress, just to give you a flavor for it. Okay, so you'll see large, Mashable, large news sites run on various versions of WordPress. There's artists that run on here. There's fashion, technology, so anything you can think of, and even Fortune 500 companies. And from a personal perspective, this is what something could look like. All right. This is an example of what would be termed a personal site. So you can see it's quite intricate and can get quite, it can become very unique to yourself. All right. TechCrunch, how many of you are familiar with TechCrunch? TechCrunch actually runs on WordPress entirely. We've got Brian Dewars. How many of you guys know Brian? All right, Brian is an alumni. He graduated in the last group, and in fact, he was in the venture group himself. And he ran a lot of, workshops last year. And for instance, this is an example of his website and maybe what yours could look like or take a lead from.
And just a comment, another comment here. Yeah, the voice from the back. Beware. So to set the time expectations straight. Wow, this thing is. To set the time expectations straight, this website can be created in 1 hour.
And you have to mute yours, otherwise it's gone.
Now? No, just saying. Maybe you'll just guys hear my voice.
Just don't use the mic.
You don't need a mic.
Don't use it.
I'll come next that.
Don't use the mic.
So just to give you a quick expectation here, this website literally can take you 1 hour, 1.5 hour max. So it's not really hard. If you want to do something that is more flashy and more appealing like the other websites, it might take you a day or two, but not more than that. Go ahead.
Okay, and of course, we ourselves as the Hult Venture Group, our website runs on WordPress. All right, so we're practicing what we preach. All right. Okay, so moving on, let's jump straight into it. WordPress, how many of you guys are going to be following on? Okay, so we're going to go through these steps. We're going to, how you go in is you have WordPress.com open in there, and we'll go through it together. We'll go through the dashboard dashboard, so just getting oriented and see what's in there and what's where. And then we'll explore the menus and see what's in there, and so that as I'm going on further on, you know where to find things. Though I'll be demonstrating it myself as well. So,
Can you show the website that we're creating here?
yeah. Okay, so you guys have it open over there, and you see the prompt where it asks you to set up. Okay, so you can just go in there and you'll open up while I'm opening this up here.
Anybody want to watch movies, Netflix?
Okay, but you guys can go through and sorry? Nice spot, so you're already ahead of the curve there. All right, so you just click through getting started. And you all right, I'm not going to fill it in myself here, but you can just put this all in and send it off to your, and click on. You'll see here there's an option, and this you can always upgrade later, so you don't absolutely have to do it right now. For now, we're going to set up on WordPress.com, so it'll be your name.wordpress.com. You can later on upgrade and have your personalized domain. There's now adding a domain, and I'll talk a little more about that later on. Okay? And you'll see they're already trying to sell to you. You don't have to do that. We're going to go with the free option, like free stuff, and create your blog once you've clicked through there. So I'll give you guys just a second once you've got that done. Just promptly. And then once you've done that, you'll just go to your email and confirm. All right.
Is the mic on?
Okay. You guys ready? Or you need a minute more? Sorry? Okay.
It's giving me password issues, doesn't like anything I put in.
Okay. Well, just a hint on that, just add something with letters, numbers, and put one special
Yeah.
character or something.
I'm using the generate strong password, it's giving me a string that I'm never going to be able to remember. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything I've tried, it says it's too weak, or this is the most common password on the entire internet. So
Yeah.
You should really
Here's a comment, so as long as you have letters, numbers, and letters and numbers can do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, letters and numbers.
Letters and numbers combined.
Oh, yeah, just trying to come up with something I'll be able to remember. That's the check.
You have to type it down, unfortunately. I have a program that manages all my passwords, otherwise I keep forgetting.
When they say follow some interesting topics,
Yeah,
You
you're in
don't-
the next step.
Yeah, just do a next step and click through all of that. You don't have to do anything in there for now. You don't have to pick a theme or anything. I'll show you.
Don't want to connect now.
No,
Not yet.
not just yet.
You go past next step. Guys.
There we go.
It's just me.
Sorry? Yeah, you don't have to follow anything. It's fine. It's fine. If you want to follow, but you don't have to. It won't throw us off in any way. You can follow. But what we want to do is click through that whole process so that you're done with it. Okay? And, sorry? You followed everything?
Done on next step.
Step 3?
Which step should we be now?
What do you have up on your screen?
So I have step 6 now, like create your first post.
You can do that, you can just click it, and we'll
Or
we'll
just
do
finish,
it.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
guys,
just
go
finish.
through all the steps.
Just finish, next,
I can always go back
and then
again.
finish.
Yeah, sure.
So it will show you a screen like next step, create your blog, create, put your tagline, choose themes. Just keep clicking through it, go next, 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 all the way till it's finished.
Yeah, you can
We'll
change
go
that.
through it,
Yes.
so until it shows you this screen.
Until it shows this.
I mean,
It will
you're
show you-
already
show you
logged in,
that.
so it won't show you that.
So you could you log in so we
Yes,
see
so
the screen?
what you need to be on is on a dashboard, and I'll show you what that is now.
You're
The
on the
reason I have this up.
Welcome to your dashboard. Yeah.
Yep.
Choose
Yeah.
a theme.
If you're on your dashboard, you're good to go.
Click next. Change that.
So your screen should look like this.
Nah.
No? It's a little bit different, but it's fine.
Everybody sees the dashboard.
Okay, so you guys, is anybody not on the dashboard?
Yep.
What do you have on your screen? Yes, as long as you see welcome to your dashboard on there, it might be certain, as long as you see dashboard at the top, you're in your dashboard.
Where am I supposed to be? Sign on.
And then it's, yeah.
I mean, if you can do it right now, so we can always help you out afterwards as well. All right? Well, you're already following everybody else.
We don't see the dashboards. You have already configured things.
No, nothing is
Earlier
configured.
earlier we had, but there's a dot button. We click it. It's not done. Yeah, I think.
Here, okay. So, I don't think we can show it here, but, so basically if you're on the blue screen,
Yeah.
right, you see that? You need to go to, so go to My Blogs. Right, click on the name of your blog, which is in that case Solving Coffee. Right, and then find here, dashboard.
That's what he's talking about. What do you have in your screen?
Okay, you're good, you just need your name. On the top left corner, guys, you'll find your name, click on your name, and then you'll find dashboard after that.
Yeah.
So,
You have to go to your blog.
yeah, you have to go to your blog first. Oh, you haven't? Yeah. So you know, so yeah, can you show? Yeah. Sorry, it's just the first, yeah, click on your name on the top left corner, and then dashboard. Anybody still didn't go through that one? Yeah, good? You're good? Everybody, okay? All right. Everybody's at the dashboard right now? Okay, cool. We're good? Dashboard? Oh, you're not?
Okay.
Right.
Okay, so from the dashboard, first, we're just going to get oriented on what's going on. You'll see there's a lot of stuff on the screen. At first, when you first look at this, you'll see that you can probe in many places. So I'm just going to give you an orientation on what's going on here. You've got under home is this page, so anytime you want to come to this point, you click here, no matter where you are. And you have, these we're not going to go into right now, all right? You'll see why in a bit. And store, they're always trying to sell you stuff, so we're going to skip over that for now and make it free. Posts is any blogs that you post. So every time you want to add something to your site, if you're running a blog, and you'll see the distinction later, you would add that in here, and it's a running stream of things that you're posting. Media is, this is really sort of, it captures any media, so pictures, videos that are going to be in your site. This is a sort of repository for all of them. If you ever want to see all the media on your site, this is where you go in and look at it. Links is exactly that. It's any links out of your site, you need to add them in here. All right. Pages will be where we'll spend a lot of time today. Is going to be the different pages on your site. Comments is any, you'll see there's an option for comments on any content on your sites which you can enable or disable. And this is where they would collect themselves, all right? And you could go in there and see all the comments and disable and edit and whatever you want to do with them. Feedback is, again, any feedback you've gotten. Again, these are all features you can switch on and off. Appearance, and this is where we'll also spend a lot of time. You want to get it looking good quickly, so we'll try to get you there. Themes, widgets, I'll go through what that is as well. You can have multiple users on your site. So for instance, if you have a common blog or a company site that you want to have several people have access to, or maybe for yourself, you want more than yourself to have access to. If you have somebody helping you, for instance, you can add users in here. Tools is we're not going to spend too much time on. It's later on. And then settings, there's one or two things we'll do in here. So as you can see, there's so many different options and places you can probe, and why it can look a bit busy on first sight. Okay.
Just to add to that, this is, this toolbar on the left, it's not a forbidden ground. We'll cover here the most important parts of it, but as after you leave, feel free to go play with it. It's easy to undo everything you do on your website. So go play with it, feel comfortable with it, and you can see that you can make, add twists to your website pretty easy.
All right, so jumping straight into it, we're going to go pick a theme for your site. So immediately start customizing it and make it yours. You'll set up your first page or two, and some one or two things you should look out for and change immediately, so it doesn't look like a default page. It's like one of those, I don't know if you guys have ever opened a site and it has those that Latin on it. You don't want that to happen, right? And some intricacies there was making your home page. You'll see that WordPress automatically assumes you want a blog, but not everybody wants a blog. Maybe you just want a website, which is where we'll go from there. And what are widgets and how they help you out. So we'll spend some time in there as part of the customization.
Right.
Okay? So firstly, we're going to pick a theme. So go right through on appearance, and you hover on it, you go to themes, and you'll be presented immediately with this page. All right? And you can go in and pick any theme you so wish here.
To make this process easier, you can also search for themes. So you can click, there is a search right there, you can see it. You can click something like black, and it shows you all the black themes, white, all the white themes, and so on. There are hundreds of them, and they're user created. So whenever you want to change the look of your website, it's like a touch away, mouse touch away.
Yeah. And you're by no means fixed in it after you've done it. You can play around with it over and over as much as you want. So what you do right here, right now, might not be the final. I'm going to go with this little one here called the structured theme, but you can pick any one. If you want to follow one exactly, you can scroll down and find structure. Okay. Or anyone you so pick. You then, if you don't want to apply it immediately, you want to see what it'll look like first, right? You don't want to just jump in and have to change the site. So you can do a live preview. And that immediately shows you what I call a mock-up of what your site will look like with that theme applied. Okay, right now it looks relatively bland, but we're going to customize it from there.
For me, it shows nothing found. It doesn't show the theme. It says nothing found.
Says what?
Nothing found.
Nothing found. When you clicked on the theme.
Yes.
Okay.
I clicked and it clicked on live preview.
Are you having
Nothing
some-
found because you don't have a content on there, I think.
Once I select the theme, can I change it later?
Yes, you can change as much as you want.
So now I can pick any.
Pick any.
Guys, just a caveat here, some of these themes are not, they may require Flash, and the iPad does not support that, so that's why you couldn't find it. So maybe just
Okay.
choose a different theme and walk through it. It doesn't matter what theme you choose, really.
So you'll see that naturally what is happening, you'll see you find little things you discover as you go along, and that's actually part of the process. All right? So you find if you're using an iPad, certain things don't work well. So why that's important and why I anticipated that is you also have to think on the customer, on who's the main audience for your site as well, the prompts. So those little things come in. If a lot of people on iPads, whatever reason, are going to be accessing your site, and they don't have Flash, and you have Flash on your site, it's going to look very odd. So that's part of the process. Okay, so I've tried this out, and you can see it. Oh, it gives you immediately. You can start doing little things to customize it. Like for instance, I want to add in a little image here. Okay, and I can add an image by just dropping it in here.
You where now? In which section?
I'm still within the preview. So
Oh, you're
within the preview, I'm just demonstrating that you can already start without applying it to your site. You can already start doing little customizations to see what it'll look like. Okay?
Yes. We're just uploading an image.
Yeah.
So
this
it's optional.
is illustrative. You don't have to do it right now. I'm just doing it so you can see that I'm already, without applying, testing out what things look like and such. All right? Okay. I'm going to decide that I like this theme for whatever reason and just save it. Again, remember, nothing is fixed. You can always change stuff all the time. So in this case, what you can do and what I suggest you always have is, you can do it from here, but I always have, I will have the site open in another page like this. And you can see what your live site is what's happening on your live site as you work on it. Okay? So you'll see here, this is where we're at right now. And you can check in on it. Every time you make a change, it should be a habit, you go in and see what's happening in the front end as well. Okay?
Sorry, where did you change that?
Sorry?
Where did you change?
All right, now, this is what your address now. Now you've got your presence. Your address is the name you chose, .wordpress.com. Right.
It's accessible to everybody on the internet
Yes.
now, right now.
This is now your this is now your website. This is your address. So that's how you can reach it.
So I can check your website now.
Yeah. So within a day or two, this will show up on Google. It'll show up on Google. So you now got a presence on your website, on the web.
But not in the front page, right?
Sorry?
Not in the front page.
It'll rise up. I mean, WordPress ranks relatively high, so
Really?
you'll
But not in the
generally.
10 results.
Sorry?
Not in the 10 results.
If you,
We'll
Well,
talk
if
about that.
there's many, and we'll talk about it. It depends on
Yeah.
many things. How
If
many
you block
people with your
constantly,
name?
right?
You can block it, and I'll show some of that.
So you need to block constantly. This can happen. It's not like.
I'm gonna go through that, those elements later.
Right, okay, good.
We're gonna cover that, so don't worry.
Sorry?
The previous page.
How to get here?
Yeah, how to get there.
This will be for whatever you're working on. So yourname.wordpress.com. You don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing here. Okay, that's now your address on the web. Okay.
So you have the theme option.
Sorry.
The theme option.
Yeah, different themes have different little options, and like I said, we're not going to go through and set everything up today. I'm showing you elements of it. You will, after this, go in and pick and choose what you want to do in intricate detail. Because all the themes have different. That's the whole purpose of themes. All of them are different and have different layouts and things you can do, nice things you can do with them to make them yours. All right. So this is very illustrative, and I'm showing you the concept. After we do this is what our site looks like right now, and things I would immediately prompt you to do or suggest that you do is you set up your first page. As I said, WordPress assumes immediately that you want to blog. So what it does, this very first home page is a blog page. All right, you may or may not want that. For instance, if you want just to have your front page being an introductory profile of you, which most people start with, and then as they progress, they add a blog. This is what we would do. All right. We go through to pages, and we add new.
You guys all at that level.
Okay.
You're copying up, add new page. Everybody there? Yeah.
Again, don't worry if you're not able to follow on now. That's why we're recording this, and we're also available after this to follow through. All right? There'll be resources provided.
You're playing with the themes, aren't you? I know.
Yeah.
You like
Everybody wants to
themes.
make a day immediately.
Yeah.
Okay?
Don't worry about it. We'll change it later,
Yes.
but it's more important to follow
Yeah,
through.
Just watch as I do this sort of thing, because these are the little things that help you out later on. You don't have to. You don't have to leave here with a perfect site. Okay?
For example, like if you uploading HP how do you create the image show once you upload the image?
It should show in the theme on which showing anything to do with theme that kind of Okay.
All right.
So I'm just going to create the first page here, so that at least the first thing, what you should have at the end of this, have a profile page up front and center, so that when Google starts indexing you in a day or two, when people come to your site, you've got something presentable to them. You can always add on and make this better as time goes on. Okay? We're going to add a first page here, and what I'd like to do is I want to add a picture first. All right?
Your picture?
Sorry?
Your own picture? It's like a profile or what?
You can add I'm going to illustrate it as a personal site, so I'm going to do mine so that you can see what you can relate to it. Okay?
Okay.
So, for instance, I'm going to add a picture of my own. Okay? Let's do here.
Looking sharp.
All right. I've opted to go with a professional feel, but again, you can do whatever you want with your site.
Be careful what you put on, though. Nothing is private online.
So it'll take a minute to upload, and once it's ready, again, you'll see it always gives you options. You can add little intricate things here. You don't have to worry too much about it. And I'm just going to insert this on the page, all right? Then,
That's it.
all right? Then I might want to add a description of myself, all right?
The new James Bond.
All right. Cool. This can be whatever you want it to be, right? But I'm just putting it for illustrative purposes. There's also things like this picture. You'll see, naturally, this is the first one to be aware of. You'll see the text you cannot write to the side of the picture. And you might wonder, okay, how do maybe the picture's only taking up one part of the screen, and you want the text to be off to the side. The way you customize that on the picture is you would click on the picture, and you'll see this comes up here, all right? You go in, and you can do all these sorts of things here. positioning. Okay. In this case, I say want the text to wrap around like this. You'll see that's how it's going to wrap around the picture as I was writing. Okay, so there it is up there, and I am just going to, now, we're going to publish our first page right now. Now, if you look in this interface here, you'll see there's on the top here, this publish field, all right? You don't, as you're working on a page, you don't have to immediately put it live. You can, like if you're still adding content, you're still tweaking it, you're still working on it, you don't have to, you can save it, and the way you save it is to make it a draft. You'll see the status here is draft, and I can save the draft. All right? So just like anything, save constantly as you're working. All right?
Excuse me. How did you put the text on the side?
The text on the side, so click on the picture, and then you'll see this pops, this shows up. You go in there, okay? And these change the way text wraps around the image. So it's by default on none, so all the text falls below it. Or you can have it wrap around like that. If you want it in the, if you want to be front and center, I could do this. So to the right. Okay. Again, you can always come in and explore this.
Can you show one more time?
One more time.
Thanks.
Click, right?
On the picture.
The picture. On the picture itself, this pops up. And that's where it is.
Like, do I change the main topic and like, you know, like the headline of my page and all this?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go in next. So that's the title of your page up there. You see this?
Sure, about this page, I mean of the general web page, the whole web page. You know,
Okay.
what we had to fill in at the beginning.
Okay?
Can you, to finish that and...
All right. Okay. Okay, I'm just going to title this page profile and save it quickly. Now, I want to publish this page. You know, I want it to be live on the site now, and I can go through here and publish. You can also do things like, I'm not going to go into it in detail, but just show you the options. You can do things like making the page password protected if for whatever reason you want it to be. Let's say you only want certain people to see the site. You can make it private, meaning only you can see it when you're logged in. And you can even set the time that it publishes, all right? So if, for instance, you just landed a new job but you want nobody to know about it until X date, but you're excited, you want to set it up, you can do the page and ask it to go live on a certain date when it can go public. So just the little things you can do in here, okay? I'm going to go ahead and publish this page, and it's immediately live. However, nothing links to it on my site. If I go to my site,
Right? Yeah, this is before it started. It's more like my main page, then I just...
so again, after you've done any action, go see what's happening in the front. When I come here and I look at my site and I've refreshed, after I published that page, see it's popped up conveniently up in the menu, okay? So this page is live now. I have a page called Profile, which has that content. I click through, and that's what it says. Now you'll see it's not visible. These are little things now you would tweak on visibility and such, so you can see my text is not very visible here. So I could always go back into the scheme and take out the picture. Which I'm going to do quickly. You don't have to do the same. Just need to be able to see. Okay. Now I'm going to show some things you can change on the page. The very first thing that you should do is, if you want this page, for instance, to be your landing page and not the blog, this is how you do it. Okay, you would go through to, it's the first page that, the landing page means if somebody comes here, which page it goes to. You have control of that, right? By default, WordPress puts your blog as a landing page, but you might want your profile as a landing page. Okay? Like I want people to see me before anything else on my page. So I'm going to go through to settings, okay? Reading, and this is it here. Front page display, you'll see by default it's on latest post, which basically means your blog, and you want to set that to static page. All right, and select it here. In this case, I want profile, and I could, if I wanted to still have a blog, I'd pick what it is here. But I'm going to leave it like this and save changes. And again, I go and see what's happening in the front. And you'll see that is now my landing page. Okay? And it naturally moves up to home. Whatever you set as your landing page will always be home in the menu. So that menu is intelligent enough to update itself. Okay? Now, I wanna make this page a little more, first thing you need to do on your page is take this out. Okay? You don't want people landing on your page and seeing site admin on there. And this whole thing, and what that is in the back end is what's called widgets. So you go in here and you go to appearance and you'll see something called widgets. Now what are widgets? Widgets are in WordPress something they've done to make customizing quite easy. One of the things they've done is when you come to widgets, you'll see there's three main areas. There's three main areas. Your menu remains on the left as always. This middle area here says available widgets. There's sort of a pool of things that you can add and remove from different areas on a page. And those areas are illustrated by these here, these boxes. So you'll see here, I'm just going to collapse this arrow collapses this. You'll see I've got right sidebar, left sidebar, home page, top right, footer left, etc., etc. These are exactly as the description says on a page. Right. So when you put things in there, if you wanted to add, for instance, you'll see when you go later, we're going to add a Facebook link. If you want to link to your company Facebook page, you're going to put it in the right sidebar. This is where we would do it. Okay. So immediately, right sidebar always has these by default. Take meta out, and the way you take them out. Sorry, in this one last section I need to show you. Under available widgets, you'll have things called inactive widgets. All that is if ever you were working on widgets and you took them out, but you wanted to keep their settings, you would drop them here, sort of a basket of widgets that you've tweaked and you want to use at some point.
Guys are following. Everybody knows how to take out their data.
Yeah, just drag them out. So once to kill immediately, take meta out. Right, you don't want that on your page. And you'll see this is immediate. So as soon as I've taken that out, if I refresh this page, immediately it's gone. All right, so this happens live. I'm going to take out categories, archives, recent post search. I'm going to leave in because I'd like people to search in there.
The ones on the right.
Oh, really?
So only the ones on the right are active, right?
Yeah, right now there's nothing. So you'll see if you expand these, there's nothing in here. So they're the only ones active. All right?
On the left, this is the available. So
Yeah, left sidebar you can add things, but be aware how very important, the way widgets behave is very dependent on the theme you're using. So for instance, if a theme you're using does not have a left sidebar, if you drop anything in the left sidebar, it's not going to show up. All right? So for instance, if I go and add in the particular theme I'm using, I happen to know there's no left sidebar. So when I drop this in here, or let's use one you've seen before. Okay, so you'll see I just added a widget to my left sidebar, and I went and I checked my page and nothing happened. I was expecting to see something in this left part of the screen here, and nothing happened. Reason is this particular template does not have a left sidebar. So you need to keep that in mind as well as you're working on things.
Would the right, like, would those bins on the right side, would they change with the theme, or is it always
No,
static?
they're static because these are generally accepted areas on the site. You always have, I mean, traditionally on a website you have the top, the header. You have on the left your left sidebar. You have a center page, which is the middle, and then the right, and all sorts of things at the bottom. In the footer you have a left footer, middle footer, right footer. Okay, so this is sort of traditional. If you've ever done development for these, this is how a web page is always split up, but of course you can take these things out and add as you want. Okay. All right, but I want to add something cool on my right sidebar. It looks a bit empty over here.
And what is what you usually don't want people to see? What usually you leave inactive?
What do you
usually leave inactive?
What do you usually leave inactive?
Yeah.
In the widgets? It's entirely up to you. What I said is there's ones you should immediately take out, like meta, right? What you put in here is it's fully customizable. All right, there's no what I call right or wrong. It depends on how you want your site to look. So for instance, in this case, I'm going to show you one little thing that you may or may not want. I'm going to add in a Facebook link. Okay. I'm going to add a Facebook like box, which is this widget here. I'm going to take it up, drop it in here under the search, and in this case, I really like the Hult Venture Group.
Now goes to your homepage. URL.
Yeah. One caveat is
That is something you added.
Yeah, I had Facebook web
And then
posts.
save.
It's count,
okay. So I've gone and added it. Let me just mention something very quickly. What you need to be aware of, and with any third-party site, that page needs to be public. It needs to be visible. So if for instance on your Facebook, as many of you may have, you may not have your profile visible publicly. Okay. So if you put your own profile, but on Facebook you've made it that you cannot see your profile unless you're a friend, for instance, or on Facebook. It will not show up. In our case, the Hult Venture Group is public. We want it to be very public, and I've put it up there. I happen to like them as well. So that's just to show you the sort of things that widgets can do. Okay. Again, there's always a whole lot of customization you can do. I could edit the height. If I think, okay, I like the Hult Venture Group, but not as much as to take up my whole right panel. I can go in here, and in these settings here, I can adjust that. Say, okay, I'm going to only go down up to that much in terms of space. And I come and look here, and you'll see it's taking up less real estate. I have more space to do stuff there. Okay. Another one you may immediately like is to add, if your Twitter feeds are public, you want to add those. You can add that quickly as well in the same manner. Go in, drop it under there, and in in my case, I don't have public fees, but I'm just showing you how simple it is there. You would add in whatever you want to call it, your username, and how many tweets you want to add, etc.
I don't see one for LinkedIn.
Yes, I'll explain a little bit on that just now.
Ender, can you go up to the sidebar and see how you can add, because some people are not following through that. Just
Okay.
where you add all these widgets,
All right.
the right
So-
sidebar, if it's not open.
Okay.
How
So
to
right-
come to the sidebar
Alright.
again.
This is what it looks like when I've collapsed it. It's by default, it's always open, but just to make it manageable, you can collapse this in the top right here. Do you see it? When you're under widgets, are you in the widgets page?
Yep.
Oliver, you in the widgets page?
I'm good.
Yes.
Just, is everybody in the widgets page?
Yes.
And again, this is, let me go through this so that there'll be a lot of exploration you need to do, but I'm showing you some of the main areas that just to be aware of, okay? So those are things you can do in terms of widgets and how you add them. To answer your question, all right, LinkedIn. Now the way a WordPress works is you'll see there's available widgets. Available widgets is this set of widgets in here. And when you're on a WordPress.com site, you're limited to just these widgets, but you'll see later on how you can go on and make it a lot more customizable, because you basically have to upgrade. All right. Does that answer your question, Sherman? Yes. Okay. That's how this works. There's always a catch somewhere, right? But so if you want to add plugins and really cool stuff, and again, that's why I said start somewhere, and later on, if you want to invest in your site, which I'll touch on later, you'd go and add that in. All right. So that's that. And what I'm going to go on to next is.
Hey, where can you find the link to do? Is there a link to do in YouTube? Find it?
You can do a LinkedIn widget, but not on WordPress.com. There's 3 levels. You can do the free so your name at WordPress.com, and later on I'll show you where you can add on things to be able to add widgets, etc. It's an upgrade.
It's outside there, right?
Yes, it's an upgrade. It would fall later on when you go here and show you that. Okay.
It appears that the sidebar sometimes is not there. Sometimes it's just footer left and footer right.
It depends again on the theme.
Depends on the theme, yeah.
Depends on the theme you're using. Okay. All right. Again, one that may pop up is people things like site visibility. Do you want to ask later on? Maybe you don't want Google. You want to encourage Google to index your site. So a little caveat on that. A lot of people ask, okay, but I don't want to be top. I want to have a presence, but I don't want to be at the top of Google. Now, the thing about Google, you can't, or any web crawler, you can't absolutely stop it from finding your site. You can what's called discourage it by degrading its performance. In some cases, you want to enhance that, right? If it's your company, etc. But I'll just show you if you don't want this to be at the top, you're going to be a bit more discreet where you go there. You go to your settings. Okay. You go to reading. You go to site visibility here. Okay, so you'll see by default allow search engines to index the site. We left it up there, and you have a relatively, and again, to come back to your point, is when somebody searches for you, how high you will be. There's many factors. How many people you share your exact name with. If you have, the more unique your name, of course, the less there will be on the web, and the higher you'll rank. But if there's many people with your exact name or near to it, it has an impact, right? But we can go and say, all right, I want to be relatively incognito being James Bond and all, and discourage Google from, or any search sites from finding this page. You can go extreme. You only want certain users to see it, all right? And users in this case is WordPress users. So if you want only only certain WordPress users to see your page, you can go to this level and click on that. And you would have to go in, I'm not going to go through it here, but you go in and you find users over here, etc. All right, but that's if you're really, and I think for our purposes, this site that you set up anyway, would not be for those purposes. So I'm going to leave it at the top there. I want to be found. Okay. Now, having done that, you'll see we've gone to a point where you've got a presence, and you can go in and add several pages. Maybe some suggestions in terms of what you should have, at least for a start, is have a landing page, your profile on the landing page with maybe a description. Maybe to start even what you have at the top of your LinkedIn or your summary from your resume. You can add a resume page in the same manner, all right, and a contact me. So maybe as a bare minimum, what you can try and do today is do that by following the same process and playing around with it, okay? And like I said, you can, if you sat for an hour or so, like Mo said, you can get something really nice out. And because in a day or two, Google will already have you up there if you have a really unique name, right? Where can you go from there? Content, and again, it really depends on what you want from your site. Do you want to be a thought leader in your field, or you want your name showing up related to certain industry? You can put a blog on here, and that's what I'm going to go and show you now, all right? As I said here, the way you would add a post.
So we're running late on time, so maybe that's the last thing we'll
Yeah,
get to.
more or less almost done. Is you would have, if I wanted to have a blog post, I could go in and I'm going to just add this quickly. I'm going to add a page. I would add it, and then you go back to that same place we went earlier on, which is under settings, reading, and front page displays, and I would save post page as blog, okay, and save this. All right. And when I go and I make any posts, so if say today I want to add a new post, let's just say I wanted to announce that today I am being on. I'll go and add that, publish it.
Got a new gun.
Yep. And you'll see it gives you this. So I'm just showing you the possibilities blogging wise. Okay. Some people decide to post stuff like that. I don't know if you want it on your side. Okay. But this is now, it's added this sort of to my blog page. And if I go here and I refresh, you'll see it's added a blog. And this will just sort of add them down here. These blogs will just keep on streaming down as you add more and more, and you can always add them up. Okay? So that's the main thing on there. So this is a sort of getting started. As you can go in many different places. From here, what you could do is invest in your site. As I said, you could go in and decide, all right, I'm more involved enough in this and that. I want to have a .com domain. My name at basically my name, www.myname.com. So if I wanted to have hulttulip.com, I would go here, store, domains, and I could add domain here. I could go and upgrade it. So I go to the store, sorry, and then you can add, you'll see all the options to upgrade and add things like if you wanted to have more widgets, etc. You'd go in and pick in from your custom site designs. If you really got creative with it, this is where you go and find that. Okay. We just one or two tips that we have in terms of what and what not to do. Obviously, keep it authentic. Depending on what you want to be, maybe it's your alter ego. You can do that as well, but if it's for professional reasons, keep it authentic. Proofread, you don't want mistakes found on there by people who find you. Post relevant content that what you want to see out there, and don't have your errors in unprofessional content if it's not a professional site. All right. We have a list of some resources on here. This will both go through things that we've gone through, how to reach them, and where you can find more information, as well as see more and more possibilities. So at the top here, very importantly, after you set up your site and you want to go in and edit it every time, you will need this link. All right. Because you need to be able to go to this link and it'll present you with the login page all the time. And then WordPress Learning, and you can just see some more information on possibilities down here. This will be made available to you guys. Okay, next I'm just going to go, Mo is going to go through very quickly what we have coming up this year, and then we'll wrap up.
Will you be sharing the slides?
The slides will be shared with you guys, yes. These will be posted on our Facebook group, and we'll share with everybody.
All right, hope you guys had fun today. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't share everything, but you can see there's a lot to, a lot to do, and it's easy to learn. You can play and tweak with it. We'll see if we can do some follow-up session if there's enough demand. So I just want to give you a quick overview of what's coming up. Our first event here was Tulip, right? And this is a workshop series about getting your online presence together. It's not limited to WordPress. We can always do HTML, app development for non-techies. And again, they'll be based on the demand, if we have enough demand for it. The second event coming up is actually on the 25th and the 26th. It's going to be a Friday and Saturday. It's going to be Build. What Build is about is creating your startup idea. If you have a business idea or a startup idea, you want to polish it, develop it, talk to other people about it, right? So the first day, Friday, is going to be about finding a team. So you actually have to pitch your idea to people from Hult and outside, if we get people from outside Hult, and convince them that your idea is a winning idea, and basically sell them on the concept of your idea. And then after that, on Saturday, you'll be paired with mentors and coaches, right? It will help you through what you need to do to get your startup off the ground. So things like marketing, developing the business plan, how to handle your operations, etc., right? It's gonna be a really hectic workshop from 8:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. So you need to brace yourselves and gear up and come ready for that if you're up for it. By the way, I know some of you already registered the early registration process. They registered their interest, but that is not everything. If you still want to participate, you have to go through the rest of the registration process. We sent another link through an email. We did some in-class announcement. It's actually on our website on Facebook, on our group on Facebook, and on our website too. You have the registration link. So if you haven't yet, please click through it. Put your idea, put the strength that you're going to offer a team if you're a co-founding member, and go through the page. It takes you like 20 seconds. So please make sure you completed the whole registration process. The third event we got, as you can see, I'm not doing it in order here, but just to give you a quick idea on the start. After you learn how to develop your business idea, go through with mentors. If you're going to pitch at the end of the day, 30-second pitch to mentors. If the mentors like you and they're willing to work with you, you will actually get free mentorship for a month or two, all the way till April, right? You're going to work with the mentors offline, meet with them. You're going to have to work it out with them and see how often they want to see you and work with you. In end of April, it's not fixed yet. We're going to have Start, which is an angel investor pitch. You're going to pitch your idea in front of angel investors. So this is the real deal, right? You have to have your idea ready. You have to be ready to go and actually work on your startup, right? So you have to be really committed to that. You have to convince people that you're serious so that they can invest in you. So these people, this is basically your last chance to get funding of our lineup of events. So come April, you need to be ready. The last event we got here is Jump, and this is a thought leadership event. It's going to be about how to take your business idea, your venture from US and globalize it, how to cross-pollinate your idea and make it a winner in other markets. So this event is for those entrepreneurs that are at that level, they're past seed level, they're already established, well established here, they have their ventures up and running, they're already making good revenue and they want to take it to other markets. So this may not be for everybody. This is going to be on the 6th of April. If you have any questions about any of these events, please feel free to send us an email as well. All right, so that takes us to the end of the event. I don't know if we got time for questions, but first, before we close this up, who would be interested in having a follow-up session to this one, whether it's about WordPress or any other domain, right, like HTML, finance, SQL, by show of hands, who would be interested in that? All right, cool. If you got any questions right now, maybe let's do 5 minutes because we're really running late. Regarding either the events or what we covered today.
I just wanted to say that for not follow-up event, we'd like to learn another language, another base besides WordPress.
All right, so you want another management system?
Yeah,
For creating your online website?
yeah, like HTML or something.
Okay, maybe let me give a. All right, so maybe what you want to do, you want to get a bit more intricate on the coding side of things, so to be able to customize a lot more. So it's not really to make a distinction. So WordPress in this case is a content management system, just a platform you put it on, it makes it easy. So maybe what you mean is an HTML or course. Right? So we can show you in WordPress itself, because WordPress, you still need a system that sits on. Then you'll be able to edit it and customize and make it what you want it to be.
Yeah.
So I understand what you mean.
Actually, something we didn't cover here. We only covered the WordPress using, WordPress is a system. Your content is on WordPress. You're doing everything inside WordPress, right? There are many ways to do this. For example, my own website, I already bought a host and a domain for it. And I have a server in the back end, and I installed WordPress on it. But I'm not limited to WordPress. So I can go and do coding, I can do HTML, I can tweak it, and you have a lot more options there. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough time to go into that. But if you quickly go to, so I'll show you my website, just an example. As you can see, there's no WordPress attached to it, right? As you can see, I haven't done a lot here. But it's a lot nicer, it gives you a lot of options, right? I have a blog up, and even here, there are many intricate details. So for example, in WordPress, it doesn't allow you to create your resume, embed it here. I don't know why it doesn't show up, but maybe because I just created it. But for example, for your resume, you can create download buttons. You don't have to copy and paste the content. So there's a lot of ways that you can create your website, but it depends on how much you want to invest in it. Because to get a domain and to get a website up, you have to pay some money. It's not a lot of money, but you have to pay some money to buy a hosting space online.
All right. Without any more questions?
There's another, what is it, Wix?
Sorry?
Another, let's say it's create a website, it's Wix.
There are many of them.
So everyone is almost the same, right? To create a website.
Not that much. I mean, the concept is the same, but they offer there's different pluses and minuses for them. I mean, WordPress is, main thing is by no means limited. You can go and explore if one works better for you. You can go and do that. Perhaps you have somebody close to you who works on it, so it makes sense. So, but WordPress by far the most well known. So there's Wix, there's so many systems, both paid and open source.
Mo, when you told that we can use programming or links and management of this on WordPress, how we can do that? Like, how can we find this? Never really saw this or.
Okay. Let me
show you something real quick.
HTML, language.
Yeah, you mean just adding links in your site? There's a place where you can add it within.
No, I'm not talking about links. You mentioned something else about the, I guess programming, right? Something like this.
Yeah, if you want
But
to
I
add.
don't know where to find this, how to access the code and this,
Yeah.
change the code.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, we could do that, could be a level 2 up from this. What he's talking about, you have to have either your own hosted site, or you have to upgrade it on your WordPress to get certain functionality. Then you can do things like full customization, and can install whatever you want. You can install what's called plugins. So that's where I can give you some.
So I had the same problem that Sherman had. I forgot my password, so I can't do it here on my computer. But what I wanted to show you is basically on my website, I literally installed the WordPress platform. I can always go in and install something else like Drupal. I can install another site builder, and I can have part of my website created using WordPress, and another part of my website using another system. So I'm not really limited to website, but that's because I already bought a domain and I bought a host space. If you're creating your website through WordPress, you have to do everything inside WordPress, and that's what we covered here because we thought it would be too much to get into that for the first session. All right. Thank you everybody for coming.
Thanks, guys. I think there's still more.